Welcome to another episode of WTF. Welcome to Friday, or what the you get to pick the title. We'll just base it on how your week has gone. I'm Cheryl Pankhurst, and I'm the host of Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for Today's World. That is our Wednesday releases with our experts. And then Fridays is just me riffing on whatever I feel like riffing on. And it's uncut, it's unedited, and it's always unfiltered this WTF day. And it's so funny. I was looking back to see when I started podcasting, which would be October 13th, 2023 was my first podcast. And it was, see, unedited, my phone just went off. And the first 5 episodes I did were solo. And honestly, first of all, it took me a year of, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, and then chickening out. And finally, I think it was my daughter one day just said, just do it. Like, what is your problem? Just do it. And so it was almost a dare for me, and dares don't work well. I have to prove them wrong. So I started, I think my first 5 were solos, and the energy it took for me to do solos was insane. I would have a transcript, I would have a point form, I would want to memorize everything I was going to say, and then staring at myself on the screen like I'm doing right now was so intimidating. And I probably did take after take after take. It probably took me all day to do a 20-minute episode, and it was exhausting. Then after 5 or 6, I did one interview just to see, give it a shot. And that was it for me. That was it. I love doing interviews. I love that I connect with people all over the world. I love that it's audio and video. There's so much energy, I think, on screen. I love that every single person I have ever met and done a podcast with as a guest, we all have the same mission. We just want to help parents. Like, we just want to help. And so when you are dealing with somebody across the screen from you with the same mission, it's so easy. It's easy. And sometimes we would agree on things, sometimes we wouldn't. That's okay. And I would pick an expert in a very specific field, say vaping or pornography or divorce. And because I've been in the field for so long and had all of those experiences, not the pornography, but the divorce, but had those experiences, I could bring in my own conversation as well. And we would just fly. I mean, there was no, when I do an expert podcast episode, there's very little prep for me. I always meet my guest beforehand for a quick meet and greet to talk about a focus and to get a general vibe. I don't think there's been more than one that I haven't called back for an episode, just because sometimes you don't vibe with somebody, but it just feels like the people who are drawn to my podcast to be guests are just, it's almost like a very synergy kind of energy. It's really cool how that works. Anyway, 160 episodes in, I started working with a podcast coach, Rory, who said, you need to do 2 a week. Oh my God, I can't, it's a lot to do 2 a week. So that's when WTF was born, because the Wednesdays are edited and polished, and there's an opener and there's a closer, an intro, outro, all of that. And that goes off to my professional daughter who does that. But WTF, I thought, okay, this is easy because I can be 10, 15 minutes. I can say whatever I want. I can talk about business. I can talk about advocating. I can talk about anything. So yes, I can probably do that. And after all the years of being on screen, now I'm a little more comfortable. It still feels weird talking to myself. I gotta tell you that. And I was thinking today, what am I going to talk about? And in my head, I was kind of going over some questions, and it kind of brought me back to my mother-in-law This is funny. Well, it's funny to me. My mother-in-law, who has since passed, rest her soul, sweet little lady, uh, old school Italian. And so didn't quite get the whole answering machine thing. So she would call me and she would say on the answering machine, this is the voicemail I would pick up. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? Yeah? Okay. I'm taking you come up for lunch Sunday. Okay? Yeah? Okay. At 1 o'clock? Yeah? Okay. Okay. You calling me back, okay? Okay. And she'd hang up. So this entire conversation, it was as if I was answering her, and I know I wasn't. And it's almost like when I do these solos, I think I'm going to shoot all this stuff out, and I'm hoping that on the other end, you're either going, yeah, you know what, Cheryl, I totally agree, that's right. Or equally as valuable, you know what, Cheryl, I don't think so. That's bullshit. You have no idea what you're talking about. That's okay. But that's what I picture now on the other end, instead of just staring into the abyss of this video. Okay, there is a point to this podcast, and I'm going to get to it. I was just thinking today, and I think this quite often now, is how we get what we truly want and how that works. And I'm really learning, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but the how to get what we really want, the how is none of our business. We decide on a goal, we decide on what we really, really, really want, and we decide on how it's going to make us feel to have that goal. And then we take the next step, just the next step, the next right step towards that goal, whatever makes sense towards that goal. But some of us, and I've been very guilty of this in the past, is this is my goal, and this is exactly how I'm going to get there. I'm going to do step 1, then step 2, then step 3, and then this is exactly how it's going to go, and then I'm going to have my goal. And I can't think of one time in my many, many years of setting goals that that's happened. I've really come to learn that you set the goal, and it can be anything. It can be business, financial, family, romantic relationships, social relationships, anything. We set the goal and we decide how it's going to make us feel. Like, why do we even want this goal? Well, I'm going to give you an example. This house I'm in right now. A year and a half ago, I was moving out of a place I did not enjoy and wanted to come back to my hometown, which is Toronto. Love this city. Love the city. Regret every moment of leaving, even though it was a learning experience and it was expansion, but it was not fun. So a year and a half ago, I start looking for a place. So I think, okay, I used to live in Toronto. I know what I used to like. I'm going to go to that area. I'm going to start looking at houses. First step, find a real estate agent, because I don't want to be filtering all this stuff out by myself. So I find this amazing real estate agent. She's lovely. And we look at some houses in that area, and literally everyone was shit. Like, don't go past the front door without rubber gloves and a mask. It was disgusting. So we went through that phase. Next phase was, well, Cheryl, maybe you'd like a condo. Like, let's look at some condos. Okay. What I wanted was, I wanted to be in the city. I wanted to be close to the water. I really wanted to be I wanted the safety, 24/7 safety, which Toronto's safe, so I'm not worried. And see, I'm cut, so the dog's barking, and I don't even have a dog. I wanted to be able to work out, to have a gym close by. These are all the things on the list that you give the real estate agent. So we start looking at condos. And I'm like, okay, I could I could maybe get into this. They have 24/7 security. There's always a gym in the building, right in the middle of downtown. Okay. I probably looked at 30 different condos over the course of 8 or 9 months. 30. Back and forth from where I was living to Toronto. I probably applied to 15 of those condos. And the application looked like this. Here's the paperwork you need. Here's a check for the deposit. And then it would never fail. The landlord would come back and say, oh, we also need this. We also need that. Maybe your left kidney, how about some blood? I mean, and I would literally dive in and give them everything they needed. Need more paperwork, need another letter, need this. On paper, I totally qualified for every single one of these condos, but every single one was denied. And I mean, it was exhausting. So the very last condo I applied for, same deal. They came back, well, we need this, we need this. And I said to my agent, you know what? No, thank you. I'm not getting mixed up in multiple offers. I'm not giving them one more thing past the checklist of what they asked for in the first place, because I decided this needed to be easy. That finding a place to live, my own space that I love and want to be in forever, should not be this hard. And all of this extra work felt like I was manipulating how things were going to go, as opposed to, this is what I want. This is how I'm feeling about it. Now it's your turn. You go. I'll just wait. But I was manipulating, trying to get what I wanted, what I thought I wanted. So after that last condo, I was like, you know what? No, this is supposed to be easy. I think the universe has said to me, you will hate the condos. Stop looking at friggin' condos, Cheryl. You're going to hate it. And were they not right? So then I said to my agent, you know what? I think I'm just going to do something a little different. I decided exactly what I wanted. I want a balcony. I want to be able to sit outside as the sun rises and have my coffee and just listen to the birds and see the cardinals come around, make me think of my dad. I want a big kitchen, a bright kitchen, because I love to cook. I want lots of open space so I have company over. I love to cook for company. And I want a place where when I sit there, I can feel creative. I can feel like the writing will come back, the content will come back, all of the things that were very stifled in a place that did not give me any energy. I really felt like I was so drained protecting my energy in a place that wasn't for me, that nothing was happening for me intrinsically, creatively. And I was just like, I don't know, getting by the skin of my teeth trying to produce stuff. So I wanted a place where when I sat there, I could look outside and I could just write. I wanted a window seat so that I could just be outside, like right on the window, writing. I could see myself, getting back into my book and writing my articles and creating content for the podcast, et cetera, et cetera. This is how I wanted it to feel. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel peace. I just wanted to feel like every single thing in my new space was mine and had a story to it. Whether it's flowers or my chalkboard in the kitchen where I write the menus, or all of my books, pictures, the art, everything belonged to me and had a story to it. So that's what I wanted to feel. And then I had this nudge. Okay, well, you love this neighborhood. There's Facebook groups in this neighborhood. So I put a post in this neighborhood Facebook group. Hi, I love this city. I love this part of the city. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is who I am. Authentically me. If anything happens to come up, you know anybody, send me a message. An hour later, I got a DM. Do you want to come and see our space? It's not even on the market yet, but we read your post. By the way, these people who read my post are never on Facebook. Read your post. In 24 hours, I came to see the perfect home. In 48 hours, I had the keys to this place. No real estate agent, no contract, no left kidney. It was the easiest thing I've ever done. Why? Because this is what I want very specifically. This is how it's going to make me feel very specifically. I focused only on that and taking the next step. Well, what's the next step? I'm going to post it on Facebook, see what happens. And then I didn't keep checking Facebook. Then I just let it go. I didn't check the comments. I didn't check the likes. I didn't check any of that. Just let it go. 48 hours, my friends. I had the keys to this place. This is the place I now wrote a chapter in a book I've contributed to, 4-page spread in a magazine, all about my business. I create content here every day. I write on my balcony. I write on my window seat. And I wake up so grateful every single day. This is my space. This is my joy. I love my life. I love my life. And I loved it before I got here because I love the feeling I knew it was going to bring me. So not just in that, this is happening in my business. This is how I'm finding my clients is this would be the perfect client. And then I get the perfect client. And not because I listed in LinkedIn and this is who I am and this is who I'm applying for. No, this person heard about this person who knew my name, who knew what I did, who gave me a number. So I don't know who needs to hear this. The whole point, in case you don't get it yet, is stop exhausting yourself with trying to figure out how life should work. Because if we knew the how to get our goals, we would have our goals. Does that not make perfect sense? If I already knew how, I would already be there. What I do know is exactly what I want, exactly how I want to feel. And I'm open to saying yes if something kind of drops in, kind of a nudge. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should send this anonymous post in Facebook. Maybe I should just chat to somebody at the bar. Maybe I should, just easy, not figuring out this is exactly how everything should go. Step 1 to step 100, and I'm going to have my goal. No. First of all, it's exhausting. Second of all, you're manipulating an end that there's more for you out there. There's a different plan for you. And if you just decide and what really is going to be the best thing for you, what's going to just make you so happy and so joyful and so calm, just decide that that's what you're going to get and focus every day on how you're going to feel when you get it. And then the rest is not up to you. Just the next easiest step is up to you. And then it just comes in the most bizarre, unlikely way you could ever think of. So keep dreaming, but keep deciding and keep tapping into what it's going to feel like when you get there, and it will come. Get out of your own way. Stop trying to be the control freak to what your end result is. Just take the next brave step. The how is none of your business. Again, if we knew the how, we would already be there. That can't be any more clear to me. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. WTF? What the is Cheryl even talking about today? I would love your feedback on how you feel about this. Agree or disagree. That's okay. You know how to get a hold of me. Website is CherylPankhurst.com. Email me at support@CherylPankhurst.com. You will find me on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. I would really love to hear back from you on this one. This was so much fun to do. And no, I'm not making fun of my mother-in-law. I loved her dearly and still do. Just who she was. All right. Have a great Friday. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. I am so grateful for all of you. Bye for now.